93 WIBC. It is Terri Stacy. To date, Indiana Wish has granted more than 3,200 wishes to Hoosier kids. The average cost of a wish is about $6,000, and their mission is to grant wishes to Indiana children 3 to 18 who have been diagnosed with a life-threatening or terminal illness. And each month, I like to shine a light actually on the good work that Indiana Wish is doing, thanks to your donations, and also to let you know that there are still a lot of kids that are waiting for their wish to come true. But now we get the best part of all, and we're going to have a chance now. Joining us is an Indiana Wish family. Amanda Avant is here. Her husband, Mike, couldn't make it. Our daughter, 5-year-old Ruby, is our Indiana Wish child. It is so nice to meet you, Amanda. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
We're doing okay. We're going to talk about where she is right now in just a second. But Ruby was diagnosed with Rett syndrome, and I want to hear about beautiful Ruby first.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she is the sweetest little thing ever, but she's also super sassy. Her laugh, just any like vocalizations or like noises that she makes is like so awesome to us, because right now, I mean, she can't talk, so she can't say words. She does say some little things, but when we get her to like laugh and stuff, oh my gosh, she's hilarious. And her personality is great. She loves books, she loves music, loves the water, loves being outside. She's just a little bit ornery, but we'll take it. We like that.
Yeah. You know, for those that don't know what Rett syndrome is, I don't. What is Rett syndrome?
So it actually is a regressive disease, and it just leads to severe impairments, and it affects every aspect of Ruby's life. So it's like 1 in 10,000 births. It affects females. Rarely, it also affects males as well. But it kind of starts to display itself with missed milestones or actual regression of skills starting about age 6 months. So anywhere from like 6 months to 18 months, you might start noticing either a regression or just not meeting milestones. Ruby just didn't meet milestones. She cannot walk, talk, eat. She has issues with breathing and breath holding. They say it's kind of like having the symptoms of Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, anxiety, autism, sleep apnea, epilepsy, scoliosis, GI issues, all rolled into one little kiddo.
Oh gosh. So you had to learn so much so fast, I'll bet.
Yes, we did. It was a very long journey to finding out what had happened. 6 months, Ruby just didn't meet milestones. We knew something was wrong. I kind of knew something was wrong the whole time. She actually ended up not getting diagnosed till about 20 months, so she was almost 2. Oh. So yeah, it was a pretty devastating diagnosis. It's an ugly, ugly disease. It is
1 in 10,000, and that sounds rare to me. That's rare.
It's very rare. It's so crazy. I think it's more and more known, but most people have not heard of it before, which is another reason why I love doing this interview, because I want people to hear about it and know about it. And, the one thing too that I do want to say about Rett syndrome, a lot of times I think people, you may look at somebody with Rett syndrome and think that maybe they're cognitively delayed. And, just like all of us, we have different levels of intelligence. With Rett syndrome, actually, most of the kids are completely normal. Like, their brains are completely functioning. They know exactly what you're talking about. They understand. They actually, but because of, how they look, or they can't talk, or how they can't move their body, I think, people kind of assume that their intelligence level is low. But I always tell people, I'm like, Ruby knows exactly what you're saying to her. She understands you. It just takes her longer to process it. But it reminds me a little bit of, it's not ALS, but kind of like that idea of like you're kind of locked in your body, where you understand everything and you want to do things, but your brain just can't communicate to your body like it wants to. And some days she can do better than others. Like, every day is different.
Is there medications to help the slow the progression?
No.
Is there anything there that can help?
No. I mean, there's like, palliative medicines for like different issues, right? Like if she has got reflux and seizures and she has restless sleep and she has excessive salivation, things like that, and we can take medicine for to like kind of help with quality of life. There is a medicine actually that just came out. The FDA just approved. This is it is literally just came out. So we still, the rec community doesn't really know like who it's going to be available to, if insurance is going to cover it. But it does have some significance that it can help with daily issues, but it's not like a cure.
Again, this is Amanda Avant, and she and her husband Mike are the parents of an Indiana Wish child, Ruby. Was Ruby your first child or your second child?
No, she was my second.
She's got an older sibling, and then she's also got a brand new baby brother. We'll talk about that little baby in just a moment. But you all were able to take a trip to Disney World while you were carrying this brand new little baby. But that was back in November. That wish was granted to go to Disney World. Tell me about that experience of being able to make some memories and just being able to focus on family, right? Everything is taken care of for you.
It might be the only time we get to do something like that. It's one of those like double-edged swords, right? And I know a lot of like families talk about this because like it was the most amazing thing ever. Like my husband and I probably have never cried tears of joy, just being able to be in a place where, especially Give Kids the World, staying there. We didn't have to like worry about everything. There was access to everything. Like I didn't have to like take her in and out of her wheelchair because she's hooked up to like tubes for feeding and things like that. And so it's just a lot. The accessibility of all of it, like Disney World was pretty accessible. Universal Studios was incredibly accessible. Just being able to like have time with actual Ruby and watch her just, oh my gosh, she just lit up. And my husband was like, please tell them, like, we got to like watch her laugh and just giggle and ride on rides that we actually thought might scare her, but actually she ended up loving them. Like we found out she loved like the roller coaster type of ride. She likes of course, the ones that make us want to vomit, the ones that go round and round. And I was pregnant at the time, so I was like, oh, honey, I'm going to sit this one out. I mean, we didn't know that was what she liked, so because she can't tell us that all the time. I mean, she has an eye gaze that she uses her eyes to talk to us by like hitting buttons, but like when we're out and about, you can't really use it. So just like getting to like know her personality and what she likes was really, really cool. So that like helped foster that.
Oh my gosh.
She also told us what she didn't like either, which was the sweetest thing. And I know if it's okay, I want to tell you a quick story. It was hilarious.
I do.
So we were riding on the Kong versus T-Rex ride, okay? And she had loved all of these like intense rides. So we were like, let's do it, So we put her on there and she's very low tone. So it's like kind of hard. Like we kind of had to like hold her up a little bit, It's kind of a bumpy ride. So we're like riding it and she is just not happy. Like she's actually having, we thought, a pain episode because she has pain episodes sometimes. And so we thought she was having a pain episode during it. So I'm like trying to hold her up and she's freaking out. So we get off the ride and my husband and my son, Liam, they were like, we're going to ride it again. We were like, okay. I was like, well, I'll sit with Ruby. So I'm sitting there with her. And we can usually with her like hold up a hand for yes and no. And she has some hand movement still. So she can like actually like smack a hand, for yes or no. And so we're sitting there and I got her calmed down and I said, Ruby, did you at least like that ride? Like, I was like, I know you're having pain. I was like, did you at least like that ride? And I put up like my hand for yes or no. And it's hard for her to cross her midline with her hand. Like, it's not easy. She immediately crossed midline and was like, no, 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 no. She was tapping on my no hand. And I was like, oh. So then I was like, is that too scary for you? And she was like, yes, 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 yes. Like with her, and like she's like hitting my yes hand. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm sorry. But like stuff like that, just when she does do stuff like that, it seems something so small, right? Just being able to like tell me whether she likes a ride or not.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that like we don't know that You know, and then when she can actually find a way to tell us that is very purposeful, right? Like you could tell she hated that, right?
That is such
I said, so you don't want to go on that again? And she was like, no.
no.
She was like, no. It was too scary. And I'm not going to lie, it is an intense ride. Like I was like, whoa.
Such a good story. It's such a good story. And again, it's a memory you'll have forever.
Your heart is just it's just bursting because I can't tell you how hard it is to not be able to communicate easily with my child and not to know what she wants and what she needs a lot of the time. So having a trip like this, I think when she's in an environment where she's happy and having a good time, like I think she can maybe relax a little bit. Videos of it, and when she met Mickey, oh my God, I wanted to melt into the floor. Like she was just so smiley. The video of it, her meeting him, smiley, and then
beautiful.
She leaned in and held his hand, and it was just the sweetest thing ever.
And so you come home, and you had Tate how long ago?
I had him on January 20th.
And you're in the hospital right now with Tate because Tate's going to need some surgery on his heart.
Yes, he has something called tetralogy of Fallot, and actually he also has a very rare genetic diagnosis that we did not know he had before he was born. So now we have another child with a very rare diagnosis. So that has been really difficult. But he has been in the St. Vincent Pete Manning NICU since January, and then very quickly declined. What was it? Gosh, I'm losing track of days. Wednesday, and it all happened very quickly, and we were transferred here to Cincinnati. So here we will sit. His open heart surgery is on Tuesday, and I am here, and we are dividing and conquering. My husband is at home with my son and with Ruby because she just has so many needs, and we do have a nurse for her, which they are a couple days. And
all of us that are listening to you right now are wondering, how in the world do you get through this? And there has to be a point where you say, why us again? And I also know in talking to Wish families, it puts an incredible strain on your marriage and financially.
I mean, you have your moments, and I think when you are in the silence, it's probably the hardest because you're like, okay, I can't, I think when you're in it, you have to try to stay busy until you have when you're able to sit down and process it, because the processing part is super important. Like I'm a clinical social worker by nature, so luckily I have some skills to handle some of this, and I have wonderful people. But the processing is so important, and everybody does that differently, and you have to do what works for you. Luckily, I have people that I can talk to. I utilize them very heavily. I have a therapist. I take medication for mental health. I think those are things that are so stereotyped. It's things that help my quality of life. I know I need them to, we need help, and you have to accept that in a lot of different ways, especially when you have one kid has such a need like Ruby, and then now Tate, which we don't know what his rare condition is going to be because there's so few people that have it. So it literally even more day to day. And I think right now we are still in that processing, right? Because all of this is still so new. We found his diagnosis came probably about a month after he was born, maybe give or take a week. So, we're still in that. There's still times where I'm processing Ruby's diagnosis. She was diagnosed over 3 years ago, and you're doing really, really great for a while, and then something happens and you're triggered, and it's just grief. And making sure that you have the support that you need, finding the support groups, getting into therapy. Yes, our marriage, it is because you adjust differently. Everybody handles this kind of stuff differently. And so, Mike and I are lucky that we are a united front right now, but we struggled, after Ruby's diagnosis came out. Because we dealt differently, and we were just struggling, and we did. We went and we talked to a therapist, and it was helpful, and one day it just clicked, and we divide and conquer, and that's what you have to do. And it's not easy.
No, it can't be. It can't be easy. It can't be easy. That's why those little nuggets of joy are so important.
Yeah.
I mean, I when you're talking, and I'm thinking about Liam too. How old is Liam?
He is 6. How
does he deal with this, or
he is such a sweet kid. Like, that's what, they always say people, kids who have siblings with special needs kids are just like the most amazing kids ever.
Yeah.
And he is hilarious. He is so funny. He has my husband's sense of humor, which makes me laugh. But he has his moments, you can kind of tell when he's a little more whiny, a little more, things kind of like the emotional regulation piece. It's a little harder for him to, get himself regulated. And I know it's typical of what's going on, but what's awesome is, we have all these people that have been so willing to help us out and like offer love to him. Like, I have people sending him care packages. So he has gotten love, throughout all this. I am a big kind of advocate for telling your kids what's going on in an age appropriate way, because like, if you don't tell them, they're going to come up with their own reason anyways, and it's usually wrong. So, you might as well tell them what's going on, and so
yeah.
he is. And this made me laugh too. So because it's an open heart surgery that Tate is going to have, my husband was talking to him how, they have to stop their heart and put him on a bypass. And so he was trying to explain that to my son, and my son's into zombies. And like, he was like, so he's going to be dead? And Mike was like, no, he's not going to be dead. He's going to be, and so Mike was like, what are you thinking? And he was like, zombie. And Mike was like, no, Tate is not going to be a zombie. But yeah.
It is so funny how they understand
interpret.
And,
yes.
Yeah.
But he is doing really well. I mean, he's doing well for what's going on and me not being home, and but that's only because everybody else is being so helpful. And
bless your heart. Again, this is one of our wish families, our Indiana wish families, and there's a lot of kids that are waiting for their wishes to come true. And all you need to do is go to indianawish.org and make that donation again and help a family just like this one that has had their wish granted. Well, thank you for spending time with us. I really mean it. There you are in the hospital in a quiet room, and we got a lot of prayers for you right now and your family.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And thank you, Indiana Wish. Oh, my goodness gracious. We could not thank them enough.